My name is Xinping Zhang, and today I would like to walk you through my final year report, which explores the impact of the integrating of the real-time weather API into a large language module to improve the weather-based conversation systems. And my title would be, How can the API affect the weather large language modules? So let me start with the short introduction or something like that. The motivation that why I would like to have like this report or something like that is that I need something for the personalized for the weather-based advice when we are asking about the some information about the different GPT or something like that. And also you can see the gap here. The weather gaps also lacks of the reasoning. Like sometimes the RM also the lacks with the real-time data. I think there's a gap between them, and I want to build something just between build a bridge just between two of them. And also, my goal is to compare with the LLM with the API performance to create a more accuracy and more helpful weather assistance when we want to ask about the weather large language model or something like that. And the main access module that I have used in this report is that I use the Llama from the Meta team and also the DeepSeek from the China. So let's move to the problem statement here. So you can see I've just put the three different keywords, key parts here is of the problem statement here, and of showing on the screen or something like that. But I would like to start with the motivation. Just like let's start with the question when we're asking about the weather chatbot or something like that. Should I just reject it today in the Manchester or something? I said the AI system would just directly give you a generic answer like it depends or something like that. Okay, so it will just say, okay, it depends. But however, no, however, for some real usefulness, it needs to be access to accurate and up-to-date weather data with the help of the AKI calling systems. And the most of the conversation AI doesn't have the real-time access to the weather conditions. And meanwhile, the weather apps provide the position data, but not human-like reasoning or positions. There's always such a model. Why couldn't the website or something like the apps or something just give me more like better answers or better results or something like that? So my project is aimed to bridge this gap or something like that to develop a weather chatbot that combines with the accuracy of the weather APIs with the flexibility of the large language models. That's why I would like to combine two of them together. About the methodology or something like that. So to answer this question, I need to build like two different systems, one with the basic system only, and another one is the with the API calling system. And I mainly use the two module, which is the Llama and the DeepSeek. And later I will just sign like over 200 bilingual questions something like that, which include the Chinese and English because I want to test in the different environment, and the Chinese and English are just different, can be also tested with the different even calling method or something like that. And for the evaluations, I will use the human judgment, of course. I will make some of my friends would like to really try to help me. They would like to help me to pick which answers is better when we decide for the questions. And also, the bird score system could be also used. It's kind of a method, and it's just like a system or something like that. We just put the questions and the reference answer, and both the API and baseline answers directly into it. It will tell you how good the baseline system answer it was, or how good it would be the base API calling system answer it was by giving different score of the F1 score, precision, and recall scores. These three different scores, the further definition could be found in my report or something like that. And anyway, it can just tell you which one is better with the which answer is better for the questions and with the reference score. That's it. And so let's keep moving on to the short demo of the system demo of my baseline system. So I use an example here. It's about the weather in the LA. So as we can see, we ask a question here: Is it sunny right now in the Los Angeles or something? And the response will be yes. The current weather in the Los Angeles is 20 degrees sunny or something like that. So it will only respond to answer based on the statics data and with the hand coded that I just directly write into the brain of the coding or something like that. But it also does have some limitation. Like it cannot forecast or upgrade in the real time data or something like that, just like a weather apps or something. That's why we would like to test with the API calling system. And this one was mainly also used by the Llama or something like that. And so before we head into the telling about the API calling system of the Llama, and we need to talk about the API calling website that I have select. So you need to access from the weather API calling website, so you can have the function of it. of the forecast or something like that. So I've choose five different like the weather app website. But the thing is that they have their own drawbacks for each one. Like for the Tomorrow IO, you cannot access the API all the time, and for the open weather map, it's always crashing when we access with the Llama or something like that. But finally, we are able to use the weather API.com after just I then learn a lot of the methods and some solutions from the Hugging Face community. I just edit the code and change the new URL and something blah 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 like that. But after fixing a lot and thanks to the kindness of the Hugging Face community, they do really have a lot of the helpful solutions, something like that. I was managed to access with the API conversation with the Llama on the website of the weather API. So the example here is that should I just bring an umbrella in the London today? And you can see the trouble here. That no need to bring an umbrella. The rain probability in London today is just 0.2 or something like that. See, you use the function and power of the weather forecast, so it can tell you that okay, there's 0% of the 0% that you will rain in London today. I mean that's pretty brilliant and pretty awesome when you see the power of the API calling actually. Then we need to give a short evaluation criteria, and we need to talk about how the birth score system and human evaluation would work like. So for the human one, we give them like 50 questions. We have like general question, we have intermediate question, we have complex question or something, blah 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 like that. And so they wouldn't know which answer. We just tell them answer A and answer B. We won't tell them answer A is from the API calling or baseline or something like that. So they just know okay, I would like to pick answer one with answer A with this question because the answer A looks better or something like that. So so for them, they just pick answer A and answer B. Then for the per score system, I will just put the reference answer, the questions, and the API calling system answer and the baseline system previous baseline system answers. So it will just grade them with the different score, and you can see okay, if the API system does have a better score, it means that it's more preferable for the per score system. And for the human researchers, if there are more people would like to select the API calling system answer, they say okay, the API system might be also profitable by the human beings. And see, we can prove the API calling system is better than the baseline system, and that's really magnificent. So let's have a quick look at my three data table from my report or something. I just make a screenshot of it and the further of the details or something like that you can see in my report. So let's start from the mid one. Because the mid one you have the human selection or something and the machine selection only. Because I didn't want to burden my friends too much, so I only have like 50 examples from them to know which one is better or something like that. So you can see the most of the human selection was about the API calling system, and also this situation is also same as the machine selection or something like that. Like both the human and machines, they would like to pick API calling systems. And for the first on the 90 question or something like that, it's only the promote in English promote question only. Then I just upgrade my. Then when we look about the left table, I just upgrade my Llama module, including both the baseline and the API calling system. I just make upgrade it into the dual language system, which means they can also answer about the Chinese questions and from the translation or something like that. So we can see the baseline system, their average score will be pretty much lower than the API calling system, which we had already seen in the previous score or something like that. But the thing is that we can see that the baseline system Chinese, okay, it has a worse score, and also the API Chinese does have they could match with the API English or something like that, which we can see something really interesting here. When we compare to the itself Llama when we compare Llama with itself, the results or something like that, it's you have a worse result when we are working with the Chinese question something like that. It's working better for the English environment. Then we test it with the DeepSeek or something. We know DeepSeek was original from only China, right? So when we was testing with like 10 questions, okay, the average score they made by the birth score, two of them, we can see the DeepSeek will have the lower result after all. But here's something really interesting that when we test with the Chinese questions only, you have a higher score than Llama. So it means that when we testing with the Chinese score, we like to use DeepSeek, and we have want to test with the English question, we like to use a Llama, and we have say some result summary or something like that. So the answers accuracy improved by 5 to 8 percentage or something, and the average response data dropped like 2 seconds or something like that. Also, with the user certifications would be increased 10 to 50, which made by the human researchers or something like that. It's really for the complex questions, of course. And also, we can see that API improves accuracy and reduces response time and increases certification we mentioned earlier. And the dependency is kind of less stable if the service is down or your internet is good if you want to use the API calling function something like that. And also, Llama was weaker than the function, and of course, the DeepSeek was more helpful for the Chinese one. But if you want to use the English promote question or something like that, you'd better use the Llama. And we can make a short conclusion here. The real-time API access greatly improves the LLM weather answer, something like that. And also, the dual language system, the double language system support is also feasible. And the language-specific model training is also could be important. And this could be expanded into the other decision support fields. I mean, we can also try this one with the different API calling system only in the weather. But how about let's try it in the support field or maybe in the traffic field or something like that? It would be much more amazing and interesting. And that's all for my report. Thank you so much for listening. Please have a good day.